Well, I've been introduced. My name is, as we see, Machairas. I work at La Cañada in Madrid, and briefly I'm going to present the tools we use, for our management, and that is what we do. And the Space Agency, European Space Agency, is an international entity where we have 29 countries represented, and we have here sites at 8 countries: Spain, Italy, France, Belgium, Germany, Low Countries, Holland, and the UK, I mean. So we have here data on the corporate business and what we do. The division in the field of facility management, we have 242,000 square meters. That is what we use. And of course, we have a population of 5,400 workers. Out of those, 2,250 workers are directly employees by the European Space Agency. And we have here that we have the technical management, and we have the hard services, and then we have entrepreneurial services, the hard services, where we have all the cleaning staff, we have the restaurant, mailing, transportation, and so on. And we have all the human resources included, and we have here environmental security. And the budget's been 60 million euros for the year. That means more or less 30% of the budget, the general budget for the European Space Agency. On top of those running expenses, we have here what we invest in order to give maintenance to our facilities. And members of our staff working in facility management, we are 49, and we have 750 subcontractors, and they are employees working for our external suppliers. We have a maximum of 2 local contracts. In our case, we have 1 contract for facility management, only 1 single contract for all facility management issues. The facility management model we use at ESA is a central coordination with the local execution. And we have common indicators mostly. Those are common indicators among different centers. We also have benchmarking, internal and external benchmarking that we have since years ago, internal and external benchmarking, and we wish to have economic benefits throughout the total integration of facility management services. We would like to have economic benefits, taking into consideration the current situation of, financial problems and reducing budgets. Facility management contracts are based on quality and the yield. With externalization of facility management services, we have achieved to reduce the administrative burden based on what has been mentioned. We have lean management, and we have here things that are not adding value to the process. And as an example, I want to say that we have less actions related to purchasing activities or procurement aspects. We are focused on the value and the best practices within facility management sector. So the best possible value for money, and we have here 2 ways to be in charge of the technology and also the best possible practices. We have on the one hand the standards that are helping us to conduct the soft management, and we also have information technology on the other hand. We have ISO 9001, ISO 14001, ISO 1800, the ISO 50001 and OHSAS 18001. And also information technology systems. We have computer and integrated facility management, the electrical power monitoring systems, the access control system, human resources management system, ESA procurement, and we have other information technology systems that we also use. The integrated workplace management system that is interrelated. So what does it mean? That means that all requirements of the different standards are here used, are here implemented within the toolbox of the computer facilities, and that is what we use in our daily work. This is what we have, the EPMS. It is the output. It is what we use for the ISO 50001. The CIFM, it's the input for the ACS, the access control system, and that is the input to HRMS in order to control where people are doing what they are doing at a given point, considering security issues. And whenever we need funds, financial resources, we have the procurement system taking our needs into consideration, as said the previous speakers, requirements. Then we go to the procurement system. We do together, we make a choice, we do this together, and then what we're purchasing, what we're constructing, that goes into the CIFM model to have BIM, to have all the plans, all the life cycle, all the building information modeling together, this methodology. I'm going to start now with the computer integrated facility management. I'm going to start now with CIFM. Computer integrated facility management is the backbone, so to speak, of our daily activities, of our ESA, European Space Agency, inventories, all installations, are systems that are local and centralized, because the division, the head of the division, the one that is in Holland, in Amsterdam, has access to whatever happens at the different centers, different branches, and can see what we're doing, who's doing what, the workload we have, indicators, month after month, and to take actions and interventions if necessary. And each one of us, we can have a total management of our part, of our tasks, of what we have to do, our share. So I am here, I have for my activities, I have all the possibilities for doing what I'm supposed to do. I have here on the screen one of the examples that are going to well, that's food for thought. There is a tool for changing our workplace offices. You have that, the experience in the field of facility management. You know, there are frictions and discussions among different parts of our companies. On the left-hand side, you have here the information for the next month, a list on data, what happened before, and also you have the possibility of having several scenarios. We have to move 40 people, 40 places, and how long will this take, how much will we pay, and how long will this take, and to choose a coordination with the client, with our internal client, to choose the best possible option, the scenario, the best possible scenario. And we have here, we have on the screenshot, we have the report, which is very important. There's a single point where we have here all the users, and we have our clients, and they are together with a tool here on work orders. We can see here they have information on the screen, what's ongoing, and the date, the due date. We have the due date. We have firstly the information also on how many of those are active, how many, well, the time elapsed, and everything. When we have a delay and so on, if we're doing fine regarding our programs, or if we have a delay, if we have too high a workload and we have to take some actions. Another curve here, this is the former step, but here we are representing here, it's the highlight of empty rooms. We have here the workspace per building, per floor. Here you see per floor, this is not in 3D, but we have the type of space, it's a 2.1, we have the square meters, and we can easily see where do we have empty space. The blue one here, that's empty space, empty room. And it is not only at first sight getting an information on what's happening, but also we can see if groups at other reports. We can also see different projects, compare different projects within our activities. We have scientists working at different projects, and we would like to have them located at the same place if they're working on the same project, to take a look and to see how things go. And here, last but not least, we have statistical data on how things go. We have, for instance, here the work we've done, there is a work request created in January. We have here the problems, we have a preventive amount, corrective amount, and what has been done. So, and you have the amounts, and you have an idea on the percentage of work that is already according to what had been planned and what's ongoing. Electrical Power Monitoring System, EPMS. EPMS. Here we have at the European Space Agency, at all our buildings, all facilities, we have here everywhere. We have this monitoring system. It depends on how important the part is. We have, for instance, in the control rooms, we have monitoring system, smart meters that are measuring energy flow and also the quality of the energy. If we have harmonics, if we have reactive energies, and so on and so forth. So the system, as you see here, the system we have here, we have distinct device types. We have here the architecture. We have a central server, and that is also in Holland, based in Holland. And we have here the client, the local client, to do our jobs. And we have the architecture. It's like a tree architecture. From each building, you have the information. You have each electric panel, or we have here, what you see here now is the representation, the coding we have within the model. Where are we and what are we talking about in our, because we have the maintenance according to the previous system. In our electrical power monitoring system here, the screenshot shows you something that's real. I don't know, when was it? July, I think, if I remember well. That dates back to July. Real data, it is that I am there or a person's there and can see on the screen what we have as consumption at a given T sub I and at a given place. We have curves, we have all the information on energy consumption at a given T sub I. And I apologize, but here we have reports on quality, the power quality report. That's very important because the power quality report is allowing us to have a debate with the utilities or with ourselves, because we have our own energy production. We see how things do go. We see the real situation. And last but not least, I'd like to present access control system. Access control system, and the system is also very important with the central control. It is centralized in Rome, Italy, based in Italy. The execution and the control are local. We have here the security system per zones. Zone 1 is where all of those who visited the site will go, conferences, conference room, the cafeteria, the gardens, and so on. Those are common space places. And here we have Zone 2, where only workers, members of the staff, and visitors might have access. And then we have critical access places. Those are are the technical rooms, technical areas where you have your project satellite control rooms, and those are only with a restricted access. People should always be accompanied by a qualified person and a certified person to have access to that place hierarchically. And here we have, for instance, we have per site a code. We have for us it is 05. It is what you see. We can program this per site, per hour, per group of people. That is extremely flexible, and we can do whatever we want to achieve. We have local administrators, because here, as you see, out of the population, we have 400 workers. Those having access are only 10 out of 400, and only 2 administrators. And they are doing the planification, as you see here. They are doing the planning inside, off-site, and also the different parameters for the setup of the system. And here we see, that's another screenshot you see here. We have 12301, and we have here the different places. Germany, Paris is 03, and so on and so forth. And we have here the architecture of the tree structure. What I mentioned in the case of electrical installations, we have here the external as well as the internal structures with our nomenclature. You have here on the right-hand side what we can do, everything that is requested, everything we want to include. Everything is there, and we see here the tools we have within IWMS and this global model for facility management. That's the obvious part. In the case of a report, we have people getting into and getting out of the place. So people here, of course, I had deleted the names, but those were the names, and I've put here because we see who's getting into our human resources. We have flexible time. They're measuring automatically the amount of hours per worker, what we've done, and those having flexible timetable and those working overtime, for instance, working more than 40 hours per week, could catch up with some days off. That's a flexi limit, and so on. And then on top of this, as we mentioned before, we can always, as an example, in a situation of crisis and you need to have an emergency and to leave the facilities, we know who was there and who did what, and if we had problems with a given person that is missing or that couldn't leave the facilities. We have here not only those who get into and those who get out of the building. I'm mentioning this because the programming is very specific to get this interface with the other system. We also have here, practically, we have, and as we have several doors, several points of access, and everything is under control. We have high security level, so we know where we are. If we're moving around, and that's something we're going to do, we're going to connect the system, the building management system, BMS, with the system. So when I leave my place, air conditioning will be off, lights off. And when I am going towards my place, things will be on when I arrive there. So it's just locating where I am. And I thank you for your kind attention and participation. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much. All the best.